says, let's get this Ocarina of Time beta incentive met. Hop on the donation train, lads. Choo choo. Thank you so much for that. And then we have a confession via a donation here. We have $250 from Commodore Scrib. They say, oh no, I forgot to watch SGDQ all week. Quick, take my money and pretend I was here the whole time. I won't say anything if you won't, Commodore. Your secret is safe with us and all the people watching on Twitch. And then, wow, a lot of confessions coming in here. We have $500 from Tato Mikat. They say, oh shoot, I completely forgot that this event was this week. I guess I'll just donate everything all at once then. Thank you so much, and that is a great strat. Speedrunning your own donations. You love to see it. All right, and I have got the thumbs up that we are ready to roll with our Chocobo GP race featuring Obiyo and groggydog. Take it away.
All right. Hi, my name is groggydog.
And my name is Obiyo.
And we are here to do Chocobo GP. So we are our own couch today, so I'm going to do a very quick preamble. This is Chocobo GP, came out earlier this year. It is a sequel to 1999's Chocobo Racing for the original PlayStation. Got a lot of heat because of its Battle Pass, but it's actually a pretty good game. The speedrun is very RNG heavy. Easy to pick up, hard to master. So we are hoping to have some fun, show off the race a little bit, and hopefully anyone can pick it up by watching. And so we have a costume incentive that we need to check on. Last we checked, it was Black Mage and White Mage in 1-2. Is that still true?
That is still true.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Thank you. So I think we'll go ahead and select our costumes. While we're loading, I can be pedantic and say that it's actually Magus and Devout from Final Fantasy III, but whatever. All right.
All right, so I guess I'll call to this it.
Let's do it.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so I guess the first mechanics there is to explain in this game, which you're going to see in pretty much every track, is drifting. So drifting works actually really similar to Mario Kart 8, where you have like 3 levels of drifting. And the highest level you go, the longer the boost stays. So obviously, when we can, we will be trying to get that level 3 as much as we can. The other thing we're going to see really quickly here are perfect tricks. So there is in this game, when you go off ramps, if you time your tricks at the very latest possible, you can get what's called a perfect trick, which gives you a lot of speed. And you can carry that speed all the way over the grass, which usually slows you down. But with the perfect trick or a boost, it doesn't slow you down, which you can use to cut corners.
On this track, you're going to notice that we're picking up our Magicite. That's what they call the item pickup. Right now, we only have 2 things to pick up. We have crystals and we have boost. I'll talk a little bit more about Magicite later on, but in the story normal run that we're doing on the master level, basically we're going to be progressively adding more characters and more magic the farther that we go. The opposite to this is extra mode, where you start off with everything and everyone. And so it's a little bit more chaotic. But for this one, we're going to keep pretty simple going into course 2, and then progressively, as we add more magic, there's going to have to be a lot more adaptivity that we have to deal with. So here in Chapter 2, you're going to start to notice we do repeat some courses as part of story mode. This course is Sid's test track. This was actually the first track in Chocobo Racing. It looks a lot different now, but there are a lot of nice throwbacks to the original game in this one as well. So as you can see, whenever we get to the actual screen, there are 3 types of Magicite pickup boxes that we have. The first is going to be bronze. That just means we pick up 1. If we pick up blue, that is going to add 1 color Magicite to whatever level we have. We can go up to 3 levels of anything, and then gold gives us 2 of anything. If I can get a quick audio check, I think I have Obiyo's audio in my ear, which is certainly a fun challenge mode that I did not expect. And if you hit blue, there we go, I've got my audio now. If we get blue whenever we don't have any Magicite, it's just going to give us a random one, just like when we pick up a bronze.
Yeah, so the strat that you're going to see a lot is whenever we get the boost Magicite, we're always going to be hunting for the blue ones to get the level 3, because that one gives really good boosts.
The other thing you might have seen by now is that we are occasionally using a super ability. Every character has a unique super. For Chocobo, who we're going to be using for this whole race, it's just a defensive invincibility. It's a little bit of speed boost, and it's also actually going to give us some path tracking, which can be good and can also be really bad. I'll show you later on some levels where that's actually potentially quite bad, but we're going to try and use it as much as possible to our advantage. Now is when the fun kind of begins. Here in the second stage for Sid's test track, we are going to add 2 more magic to the boost and to the crystals that we got. The first is going to be fire. That's our offensive magic. Level 1 shoots straight ahead. Level 2 tracks to the person in front of you like a homing missile. And level 3 goes straight to the first place racer. So we're also going to get a defensive barrier as an item.
Yeah, so this is where essentially AI starts to be trolls and can actually destroy you pretty badly. So we have to be careful with that.
Yeah, like we said, this is a very, very RNG heavy run. It's definitely one of those that can make your rage. Yeah, just like that.
So I had boost, I had no way to defend myself, and yeah, sometimes you just get hit like that.
You can also, as you can see, throw in front and behind you, so I'm mostly just going to like blindly toss it behind me in the hopes that maybe I will annoy someone and hit them instead. I'm not even sure what that was. Oh, that was Gilgamesh's super. Which is actually bad news for me because I need to beat Gilgamesh this lap. But there we go, that should help. Yeah, he's going to target me here any second. Oh no, that's Sid. I'm waiting with bated breath, see what happens here. We are just going to cross the finish line. Ooh, so that was Atla's ability. Atla is a real jerk of a Moogle. His ability is indefensible unless you are already in an invincible state. You get no warning for it. It spins you out and steals your crystals. Before I switch over to Obiyo to talk about this course, crystals, you pick them up, they take 1 second off of your super time so that you can use it faster than you might normally do it. And then if you get to 10 crystals, it'll increase your base driving speed.
Yeah, I also believe it affects the AI as well. So as more crystal they get, they also get their super faster.
Yeah.
So it can affect when they use it in the track, which sometimes can be better or worse depending on where they use it.
Yeah.
So this track is one of the very few tracks that actually has like a kind of a shortcut. So at the beginning of the middle, there's a bunch of sand, which you can skip if you get either a speed magicite or another magicite which you're going to see in the next race, which is the Polo one. So essentially, this track is just hoping to get one of these 2 magicites to be able to just skip the middle, which saves a lot of time. Ooh. And also at the end, there's coconuts falling, which you do not want to hit because they do lose you a lot of time. You essentially lose all your speed and you have to, start over. So
you're going to see some very familiar Final Fantasy characters start to pop up. You just saw a super on my screen. That was Titan, so he's going to just throw a bunch of earth spikes up at you, and you kind of just got to do your best to avoid it. That one, fortunately, is not too bad to deal with. As long as you stay kind of around the edges, you're a lot less likely to get hit by that. But some of them get worse as you go on. I think it's kind of ironic in this speedrun. Some of the first courses are actually the most nerve-wracking because you can potentially lose to someone. Or, you just have fewer tools to deal with the magic coming at you. Or it's just like the track itself is annoying to deal with. Some of these in the middle are going to get a little bit longer, a little bit straighter, a little bit easier to deal with.
yeah, essentially the longer the track is, the safer you are. In practice, we had quite some bad luck in some of these early races where the AI was just ruthless, and hopefully it doesn't happen this time.
So like I said, this is a very easy run to pick up, hard to master. We don't really have a lot of tech. We don't have a lot of skips or anything like that. We did have tech. We did have very cool stuff, including an air drift, which we used to do off this. Now you see I'm just driving off of it. Uh-oh. Nice. But we got patched about a month ago, and I think we honestly thought that the speedrun was going to be like over at that point. We lost 2 pieces of tech from that. Oh no.
As you see now, I'm using the portal magicite, so it pretty just skips you ahead. And the AI can actually use those as well. Yeah. And you can use the portal leftovers, like I just did. So if you're lucky like me, you can, zoom to the end, basically, but with the help of the AI, so...
Yeah. With the portals, though, so whenever you do a portal, oh man, we talked about that. I almost did it. It's really easy to just like mash A and accidentally repeat it. Normally we do in-game time, not RTA, and so it doesn't really matter. It just throws off your splits. But obviously for GDQ, I don't want to do that because that's like a 9-second time loss. I totally forgot what I was just about to say. Oh, portals. So when you put a portal down, it makes a blue portal that you go into, and it makes a red portal that you go out of. A lot of times what will happen is an NPC will put down a red portal right in front of you, and you can't react to it, and then it takes you back. And it's a real fun way to lose time. This is where we start to get into some familiar territory, so I very much want eagle-eyed Final Fantasy fans to kind of pay attention to the tracks that we're on. We're joined by Ramuh, another summon. We're joined by Terra, and oddly, her dad, Maduin, is one of the characters in this game. But we're in Zozo from Final Fantasy VI. We're going to cover most of the SNES generation and the PlayStation 1 generation with the tracks and some of the characters, so definitely keep an eye out for that. This is, again, a nerve-wracking course. It is just short enough, and there's just enough going on that these NPCs can really make you have a bad time. But this is also where we're starting to pay attention to supers a lot more. So there was Ramuh, who's just about to pass me. It's just a big thundercloud. Terra's is the one you just saw past me. It's 6 missiles shot in sort of a wave. And then this is Shiva. So they always, or almost always, come in that order. So ideally, we can kind of know, all right, as I'm going around this turn, I'm expecting at least one of these 3 things to happen. Oh, and there was Sid trying to give me a bad time.
Yeah, sadly I couldn't escape the freeze because I had to escape a fireball.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to choose, which one would you rather get hit by, because you cannot, avoid them all.
Yeah, you saw me drive into a wall there as well. One of the things that you can do when you have a fireball tracking you is to try and get really close to a wall or on a corner. And what that'll actually do is potentially allow the fireball to hit the wall instead of you. It is really imprecise. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it's just like one of those last-ditch things that you can do. But now we're going to repeat Zozo, so I think this would be a great time for donations if we have any.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got $10 from a Jelly Donut 102. They say, love me some good GDQ. I'm a rather new viewer, but I love all the passion and community action. Let's keep raising tons of money for Doctors Without Borders.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much and welcome. And we've got $70 from Ted Manny, who says, no incentive left behind. Thank you so much for that. Make sure you're putting your donations towards those incentives to stretch out GDQ as long as we can.
You've got this whole track, yeah.
All right, well, we've got $100 from the third tail that just says less than 3.
Oh, thanks.
Well, less than 3 to you. And I've got $200 from Nyan Kat. They say, hi, GDQ. Been taking a working vacation this week, so thank you for making it even more fun. As someone that staffs a professional development conference that recently moved to a hybrid format, it's a lot of work. Big props to you all for hosting a marathon both in person and virtually. Many luck and many love. Less than 3. Thank you so much for that. And big shout outs to the tech crew and everyone making this awesome hybrid event happen here at GDQ. We've got $15 from Kevin, says GDQ has been one of my highlights this year. Thank you for bringing this amazing show to us every year. Less than 3. Thank you so much for that donation. And we've got $25 from Coltio that says, love watching with my girlfriend and my cats. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you so much for that. We've got $50 from Extroverted. They say, you are all my personal heroes. Thank you so much for putting on such a beautiful event. Thank you so much, Extroverted. And thank you so much for all of these amazing donations. I hear that victory sound. I know that means we've wrapped up yet another run.
So now we are going to be moving from Final Fantasy VI up to the PS1 era. My personal favorite game, I don't know how the crowd feels, but Final Fantasy IX, we are headed to 2 levels in Alexandria Castle. All right. So we're going to get Vivi and Steiner as added characters. Vivi is actually a really fun multiplayer character, very hard to pick up, but very fun to use. These are 2 very technical tracks.
I guess that's a good time to mention the different skates that we have.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So we are actually using different rides. Each character has 3 rides that you can unlock by playing the game. There's standard, there's speed, and then there's drift. Obiyo is over here with those 2 jets. He's using the standard ride, so he has a bit better handling. I'm here on the 1 single large jet. I'm using the speed ride.
So essentially, this map for me is going to be slightly faster usually.
Yeah.
Just because I have a easier time doing the corners. But there's a lot of tracks coming up that are really good for speed skates, so Groggy will be able to get that time back, essentially.
Yeah, hopefully next course will go very well for me. There we go. This is, if you are listening, a very, very good remix of Melodies of Life from Final Fantasy IX. I think this game has some really genuinely incredible music. We're gonna get, I think, probably everyone's favorite coming up, not on the next track, but the one right after that. So definitely keeping the ear open for that. One of the good things about this track and a couple of the others that are coming up is that they have some environmental hazards, and while that may not sound like a good thing, what it means is that sometimes you will be able to, you will be able to lose an enemy projectile without actually having to do anything. You just kind of keep driving and the projectile will get lost somewhere on the map.
Yes, that's quite convenient. Especially the later you go in this story mode, the more attack the more offensive magicite the AI has, so it gets harder and harder to like actually not get hit.
Yeah.
That was a very lucky
Yeah, you got fast on
race.
that one.
Yeah, I got a lot of boost magicite, so times in this can vary a lot. Like I got pretty much, I think half of my items were boost. So
Nice. I got like 1 or 2 on that one. Now we get to one that I like quite a lot. We're going to go inside Alexandria Castle. It has both a very funny opening to me sometimes, and it also has a throwback to the original Chocobo racing. There's going to be a big spiral staircase in the middle of the track, which is a callback to Black Mage Manor from Chocobo racing, which is a real pain to race. Fortunately, it's a little bit easier to handle that spiral here. But if you look on Obiyo's screen and you're lucky, you might see the computers get just absolutely smashed by the chandelier.
oh
Yeah,
there you
very
go.
good.
There's always a couple.
There's like a few courses where we can reliably expect the computers to just not pay attention to the environment at all. Yeah, same thing happened on mine. Vivi managed to escape his doom this time. We're going to add in Doom this time as well, speaking of. So that is very much like the Final Fantasy status effect that you know and love. In the original Chocobo racing, if you got doomed, you kind of just had to either like hope that you had a reflect materia or just take it. In Chocobo GP, it's actually going to give you a chance to get rid of it. So if you see either one of us with a skull pop up above our racer, like me, I'm just going to jam on the jump button and get it to go away. And so there's a couple different levels, and depending on the level that you get, you're going to have to hit it more and you have less time to do so. So there are some really unfortunate places that you can get that. Again, a little bit down to luck. Oh, okay. Atla hit me in a real rough spot there. Atla seems to know like exactly what the worst spot to hit someone is.
Yeah, there's a map later down that we have to do like a ramp jump to like cut a part of the track, and Atlas loves to just snipe us there.
He just knows.
Yeah, he just knows.
I absolutely love this song. I can never get enough of this song. This is a great remix.
Yeah, I think this is the perk about running this game. You just get to listen to so many great songs.
Yeah, the one exception to that being the title theme, which is god-awful.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we did not start on the title screen for you all, because it is it gets stuck in your ear and it's very grating, which is just the worst of both worlds. Oh, that was a fun way to get stuck on a wall. They said that they patched that out. They for sure did not.
I did the thing that we said not to do.
You did the thing?
Yep.
Oh no. Well, you're just being nice to me, I guess, and helping me catch up a little bit.
Exactly.
That's very kind of you, Obiyo. Thank you.
So it's really easy to just forget not to spam A and then not to re-enter the same chapter.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit of time for you.
And again, the tricky thing is like, you don't really get punished for it when you're just doing a normal speed run, because either you just reset or it's in-game timing, and so it doesn't really matter. And so it's a really bad habit that I very much tried to break coming into this. And I don't know that I did a very good job. I did it a few times yesterday, so we'll see if
We both did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we were both tired last night. We managed to split pretty evenly 2-2 last night. We were just like trading bad luck back and forth. So here we are. We are now in Final Fantasy V, back to the SNES era. If you are a fan of Battle on the Big Bridge, then definitely give a listen, because this remix is awesome. I love hearing this song. It gets me really hyped every single time.
Yeah, probably my favorite in the game, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you on that.
All right, so this is the track we're talking about, where sometime if there's like a fireball coming your way, something like that, you see there's like 3 different paths. So sometimes it just gets lost between the paths, and you can kind of get lucky and not get hit. So usually you're pretty safe here for the most part.
Yeah.
You don't really get hit too much.
That path, though, is... So earlier I mentioned that Chocobo Super has some tracking to it, which can be used to your benefit, and oftentimes will not. I'm going to go ahead and use it now because I don't like this pattern. But what can happen is sometimes if you use your super in that middle part with all those gates going up and down, the tracking will just decide, you know what, I want to go towards this closed gate, and then you have to just sit there in front of that closed gate until your super runs out.
Yeah, I think the way it works is that it always goes to the left for some reason.
Is that really it? I've never actually noticed that pattern.
I feel like it always goes to the left. So like if the left door is closed, you're kind of like you will end up into the barrier.
I'm usually too angry to notice a pattern. Uh-oh, whose water was that? This is an interesting part. In some people, when they speedrun this, will actually switch out to an Irma, who you can see in 3rd place on my screen briefly. Again, since we're not doing RTA, you can afford to take the 10, 15 seconds to switch out a character, go a little bit faster. It's not necessary. You can get about a second slower with Chocobo and be just fine. But, you know, I think there's still a lot of room, especially in extra, and even in normal to some extent, to character switching and seeing, like, who's better for what track. You know, this game really only has been out for 3 months, and while we've got it down pretty well at this point, I think there's a lot of experimenting left to be done.
That's a good time for donation again, if you want.
Yeah, you got it. Let's get some hype here in the room. These runners are only like 5 seconds apart right now on this race. We got $50 from Necro that says, thanks for all you do. Well, thank you, Necro, and everyone donating. We really appreciate it. We've got $10 from Kapaski. It says, 1 more game's done quick, 1 more donation. Keep fighting. Thank you so much for that. We've got $25 from Lady Elcon. They say, for my birthday, I wanted to do something good, and what could be better than supporting your event? Thanks to the speedrunners, the GDQ team, for supporting Doctors Without Borders, and good luck with the remaining runs. Greetings to the chat from Royal Funk from Germany. Love you guys. Well, love you and happy birthday. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Yeah. We got $15 from Mere Artist. They say, here's to many more awesome runs and making sure no borders get in the way of doctors. Thank you so much for that. And we've got $25 from Talon Dragon that says, no comment? No, wait, yes, comment. Good catch there, good catch. You almost missed it. And we've got $20 from Sunny Cloud. They say, longtime fan of GDQ, keep up your great work. You all are awesome. Thank you so much for all these donations. We really appreciate the love.
All right, one thing I do want to shout out a couple people. DCFZ is on the Japanese restream. He has been super good in finding out tech and doing some translation from the Japanese community for us. And I believe Shigen is also on the French restream. So if they can hear us, hello to them. Great members of the community. We have like 2 Discords. We have the speedrun Discord, and then we have like a competitive multiplayer one. They are both really awesome. The Chocobo GP mode, which is like a 64-player knockout tournament, is very fun. I've definitely played a lot of it in addition to the speedrun. So if you're interested in this, if this looks fun, I very much recommend picking it up. But as you can see, we are headed to Final Fantasy VII now. We are in the Gold Saucer. You can see the haunted house over there to the left. This is one of the runs where we actually get to do some fun stuff and hope that it goes well. But it also can go very poorly. So if you look over on Obiyo's screen, hopefully it's going to happen here in just a second. Yeah, so there's a nice little jump over the abyss. It is very tricky. There are some kill planes on either side of either of these jumps that we're going to have to try and avoid. And we also don't want to hit a wall. Again, there's some issues with invisible barriers on these runs. And so we have to sort of bounce off of it at the right angle to avoid that.
Yeah, I usually don't cut the first little bit because the void there is actually really close to the track. So you can't really cut too much of the first part. So I usually just try to aim properly for the second one, which is much more lenient.
All right. There are, on a couple of these tracks coming up, some good times to use our super and some bad times to use our super. Fortunately, I saw Shiva's ability coming in, so I was able to use the super in a place that I normally would save it for on the 3rd lap. It's not a big deal if I use it now. But you can see like a portal right there is like, oh, okay, portal's good. Portal puts me ahead. That's kind of nice. But it's a trap. Don't do it. It is going to put you, those two, oh man, those are real bad. That is going to send you flying off the level, guarantee. So if you see that, don't trust those portals.
Yeah, essentially, if you see any portal near the end there, it's like you take them at your own risk. You know, it might be great, or you might just fall off. So it's a big risk to take.
This one, ideally, you're aiming for like a 115 to a 117. But again, like depending on if someone hits you with a really weird super and you have to use your super at a bad time, or if they hit you with like a doom when you're going up the spiral, there are so many ways at this level in particular can go wrong. So you're really just hoping for good RNG. Yeah,
because you really want to get like the perfect, the level 3 drift into perfect trick to set up the skip properly. And it's just so many things that like actually kind of mess you up there.
Yeah, or you could get hit by earthquake right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's a huge premium. Oh yeah, and then Titan decided to kind of bump me as we were going off the jump, so I don't get the boost from that. There's a huge premium on getting out ahead early. Because when you're out ahead early, you don't get hit by other people's abilities. You are sometimes too far for people's supers. And so the moment that you are behind, it's going to be a bad time. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing now. Oh, Sherma really has it out for me. She could have shot that forward, but no, she decided to go backwards for me. Oh, that's in a bad spot. Okay, now we're good. Part of the problem with the water ability in particular is that we tend to put it down in places that only we go because we're not taking the same lines that, that was something I figured out yesterday. I did not know until yesterday that you could get rid of Shiva's super by going through a portal, but now we know. But yeah, normally we were putting water down on accident in lines that only we take, and so like we might expect an NPC to get rid of it for us, and then just like, nope.
You can actually like throw it forward, but it doesn't really go that far.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately that one is going to lose me about 10 seconds. Just, again, pretty much just because I got hit by an ability right at the start. So nothing to be upset about, but certainly not how I wanted that one to go.
So next track is like probably both of our favorite, I think.
Yeah.
It's very, very flowy when it's like just a bunch of boosts everywhere and you get to trick and it's just like, you're basically boosting the entire time. It's really fun.
We're also going to do one trick off of a ramp here. This was the only like legitimate glitch or skip that we used to have in the game. It got patched out in the game's first patch. We used to be able to skip an entire section of the course just by drifting in the air. Now, I think kind of like in commemoration of that, we're going to do a sort of a fun trick that you'll see on Obiyo screen, where we're just going to clip the fence, and get a boost. It does basically nothing for the run. It just looks cool. There's also a kill plane over to the right, so it's actually very risky. But, just like in honor of missing that trick, we do it anyways. Racing Hero X and Mecha Chocobo can also give you a really hard time there at the start. I have lost like world record pace runs to them just like bumping into me and knocking me off to the point where I can't get to that jump. But this is going to be just a slight variation on the last Gold Saucer. So I think if you've got more donations, please feel free to read them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do a block here of people who haven't left comments but have given donations. I want to make sure they get some love too. We've got $5 from Niall, $5 from Zandurka, $5 from Sleepy Butters, $5 from Mycologist, and we've got $25 from B Porter, $25 from Little Minish, $200 from Riven Dare, $250 from Stephen and Jess, and $500 from Hands of Blue. Thank you so much for your donations. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
You want to fit in some more?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you got it. We've got $20 from Rupio to say, hello all, first donation of the week, but not the last. It took some time, planning, and research to come up with the optimal route for my donation strategy, but a good preparation makes a run work. Good luck to all the runners, and good job to all the staff for an excellent week of entertainment. Rupio, thank you so much, and good job on that routing. That is very important.
All right, so we're going to go in the last chapters with the last two races.
That was close.
These ones are actually pretty rough.
Yeah.
But even if the AI gets really offensive on us, we can usually still win, and no problem. Because there's just so long, so there's so many opportunities to just come back.
Yeah, this is also where I get to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy. Obiyo, you don't know too much about Final Fantasy. This is one of your first Final Fantasy games, right?
Yeah.
You are some people would say you are pretty good at Diddy Kong Racing.
Sometimes.
I do not have that experience. I just know a lot about Final Fantasy. I think this is very like Final Fantasy fashion. We are going to like an unnamed interdimensional rift, and the ultimate bad guy will be a person that we've never met before. So I think they really nailed that Final Fantasy aesthetic here. They have a vague name like Necroshell. But yeah, this is, again, one of those, like, theoretically, it's long enough that we should be just fine. It very much is possible to get bad enough luck that you just lose this course. But you'll see one thing we do is we take a tight turn right here and go this way. You save a little bit of time by taking this path instead of going to the left. This is one of those ones where like I really have to adapt how I'm braking as I drift and how I'm handling this course. Because of my speed skates, I don't have the same kind of handling that Obiyo has, and so I'm having to be a little bit more cautious about what I'm doing. I will be able to come back a little bit later and reap benefits next stage in a couple of those parts, but this one is particularly tricky with speed skates.
Yeah, the AI has been very nice to me so far.
Same.
In practice, this track has been really rough.
Yeah, they're mean to both of us all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well there goes Atlas heading into the wall. And I think we've got one more course after this, and so if we want to go donations, basically until the end of that course, feel free to read as many as you want, and we can fill in the rest of the time. But I want, we're getting to the last couple of days. I want to make sure people get their donations read.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got $50 from Beastie. It says, amazing event and a huge thank you to the runners and staff who work so hard to raise money for such a worthy cause. Love you, gamers. Love you, Beastie. Thank you. We've got $100 from Exhale. They say, you're doing great. Rooting for you from Cali. Well, we're rooting right back from Minnesota. Thank you so much for that donation. Got $50 from 110. They say, enjoying all the runs. Thanks. So glad to hear you're enjoying it. Just a quick update. We are at $27,000 for that bonus game, the Ocarina of Time Beta Showcase. And we're just kind of getting rolling on that Ocarina of Time Ice Trap Mayhem incentive. So when you're putting these donations in, make sure you're picking your incentives. And like I said earlier, you can get that nice double dip bonus because everything you're donating now is going to that any % Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl run. And we definitely want to see all of these incentives met.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Oh. A little bit of RNG here. This track, the gimmick of this track essentially is there's like a bunch of red crystals around the track. And if you hit them, it essentially is the same as getting hit by, let's say, a fireball. So you want to avoid all of these crystals as much as possible.
The good news is that if someone else hits them, they go away.
Yeah, as soon as they get hit, then they just disappear, which is very nice.
Oh gosh, that was so close. The hitbox on those can be kind of weird sometimes.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like this track is actually a bunch of really weird hitboxes for the most part.
There's also these blue crystals right ahead on my screen. And those don't knock you out in the same way the red crystals do. They do stop you like they're just a big wall. So you also have to be cognizant of that as you're going through. Thank you, Atla. We have a command in my chat for Atla. It's a special place in my heart, is how I'll say that.
Alright, so time is going to be when I cross the finish line at the last lap. Hopefully I actually get to be first, because right now I am not. But I think I should be fine.
Oh gosh. You saw on my screen, I got wrapped in like a little green wind. That is Sylph. That is one of the most annoying supers in the game. It basically just screws with your steering, and so you can't turn as tightly as you want to. You don't really have any control over your steering, really. You're just kind of like counter-steering and hoping for the best. This is a pretty okay course to get it on. So there's not any huge spots where that's just incredibly important.
Time for me.
Nice job. GG's, Obiyo. And then that will be time for me. Atla has like one more word. Of course he does. That's time for me.
GG.
Yeah, GG's, man. That was awesome. Thank you so much to GDQ, all the staff. This has been such an amazing event. I want to shout out Karaoke from the Chocobo GP Discord. She has done so much work in moderating. She's also how I learned Chocobo racing, and I just want to make sure she gets a shout out. And my amazing girlfriend who has supported me through all this, and unfortunately knows all of the songs for this way too well now.
I just want to say a shout out for a big thank you to GQ from both me and Groggy for taking us for a chance to showcase Chocobo GP and just being on stage here. It's been pretty fun. So thank you a lot, GDQ.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all so much.
That's right. Let's hear it one more time for Obiyo and that great race. We had groggydog as well. I am THEKyleThomas. This has been an absolute honor to be here in person at my very first in-person GDQ hosting for you all. I really appreciate all the hype and energy y'all bring. I'm going to be handing it over to the inimitable Char Bunny. We're going to have some more great runs coming up. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. I love you, GDQ, and we'll see you around.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. You're watching Summer Games Done Quick 2022, powered by Twitch. My name is Char Bunny, and I am so excited to host this upcoming Pokemon run. Everyone out there, are you excited too? And I gotta say, did you know we can get even more Pokemon in the marathon? We currently have a bonus any % run that needs your help. If we can get a grand total in the marathon of $1,484,000 before the end of this run, we will see a bonus any % run of this game. Now, for those of you who aren't sure how different that is from the category we're gonna be running today, the current estimate for this next run is somewhere around 3 hours, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that. The bonus game comes in under half an hour. If you want to see how we take a 4-hour speed run, remember that's 4 hours of a speed run, and cut that down into 1/8 the size, yeah, you're going to want to get those donations in. And keep in mind, because that is a milestone incentive, meaning we are looking at our grand total to make that happen, you can also donate towards any of these other wonderful incentives that we have open. We have F-Zero GX Sandbag Chapter 8. That needs some help. It's going to need $10,000. And of course, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Ice Trap Mayhem, which is a very accurate name. That needs $35,000. It's currently at $726. So if you're looking for something fun to put in, that is absolutely a wonderful incentive to support. That's one of those things where if you want to see extra tension every single time the runners open a chest, yeah, it's going to be mayhem, just like the title advertises. And of course, thank you so much for everyone who's been supporting us throughout this week. We have $50 from Sarek, who says, good luck to the runners. We have $25 from Koyomi, who says, thank you for that awesome event. Lizard, doggy, love. There are so many fantastic prizes this event. If you haven't been paying attention to them, you absolutely should be. There's a bunch of Shovel Knight prizes. We had a Shovel Knight run earlier today. There's a red foil Pokemon Legends print set. So if you're a fan of Pokemon, if you're watching now, you might be. That's a $15 minimum donation so make sure to get those donations in now. We also have $5 from Empress Vera, who says, all right, the last of my budget to give to Doctors Without Borders. Putting this $5 towards a name that I'm sure will annoy my Madoof-hating friend who is watching with me. Thanks for all you do. And we have quite a few bid wars for this Pokemon run. Some of them are going to close right at the beginning, so you'll want to make sure that you get those in. For the trainer name, Kizaron is currently in the lead with over $1,000, but if you want Bananas to win, you need to donate now. For the rival name, Morbius is in the lead with over $2,000, but there's definitely some other options there if you want to make that happen. Both of those will close right at the start of the run, so you don't have a ton of time left to snipe those and get your favorite name on stage for this entire run. Later on, we're going to be naming our starter. Our starter will be Chimchar for this run. Currently, Barry is in the lead with $1,052, but Super Bidoof is not far behind at $901. That'll be a few minutes into the run, so you'll have a bit of extra time for that, but yeah, you want to make sure that happens. And then, of course, Palkia, our legendary from this game, will also have a naming incentive. You have plenty of time to get that one, though, because if you're familiar with Pokemon games, you know that's going to be towards the end, so make sure you get your donations in for that one. And of course, all of these donations are supporting a fantastic cause in Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders, or MSF, is an international medical humanitarian aid organization that works in over 70 countries around the world, providing life-saving medical humanitarian care and speaking out about what they see in those areas. Their work aids people based solely on need, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or political affiliation. MSF relies mainly on the generosity of individual donors, as over 90% of MSF income comes from private donors giving small amounts. And every bit does help. A $10 donation, just $10, just one $10 bill, can purchase 45 emergency food rations for use in a crisis or natural disaster. Talk about making the most for your buck. That is a fantastic way to support a wonderful cause. So please, maybe we can even get a $10 donation train going for all this amazing support that Doctors Without Borders provides to people worldwide. We have $25 from Fly330, who says, can't believe SGDQ is winding down. So excited for more runs, particularly Pokemon. Let's get to 2 million and beyond. I think that'd be fantastic. I wonder if we can hit 2 million today. I would love to see it. We also have $50 from DP, who says, love seeing games I have never heard of get conquered, all for a great cause.